episode 45 of season 5 of the Paper Thing with me, the increasingly irritated Broken Bottle Boy, aka Mick Wright. That's person in the room whizzing past to go and do a call. Hello and welcome to the show. Hi. I continue to be in a landlord-created dystopia, so I'm extremely fucked off today. So look forward to enjoying that on the show, as it's a magazine special. We will perhaps look at a paper near the end of the show, but it's a 3-magazine special, and they are cursed magazines. We have got today H&E Naturist magazine, which a person in the room has applied a vast number of stickers to make it terms of service compliant. We've got Inside the Ropes wrestling magazine, more tits, but socially acceptable tits, and Nexus, a conspiracy theorist type magazine that's still sold in W.H. Smith. Good afternoon to you, Mark Kenosis. How are you doing? Good to see you. H&E Naturist magazine, yes. We might look at some papers. Certainly the papers are available. We might look at them, but probably this first. So, a good day to you, Gonzo Socialism. How are you doing? Good to see you. I haven't changed the episode number at the top of the screen. What a miss. Weirdly, I don't think the news magazine is going to be the one with the most bollocks in it. No, but there is a striking amount of penises in it. We've had to do quite a lot of censorship on the fly for this one. Censorship of the flies as well. Right, let's get started. So, let's take a tour around the front page of Naturist magazine, where they use the headline there to cover the genitals. My campaign to normalise naturism, how one woman's quest spawned a social media trend. Also, running for charity naked. Body freedom story, an Indian man's journey towards self-acceptance. Alicia on the Avon, fun by the river on a photo shoot in Wiltshire. Naturism and diversity, how do we make the lifestyle more inclusive? And death drawing, a nude art class with a spooky twist. Plus, how to take the perfect selfie. Our naked wedding, that one is... And, yeah, there you go, up at the top. Naked lifestyle, naked travel, and naked health. Very much naked across the board there. Yeah, thank you, Gonzo. We're all right here. We're still going through landlord bullshit. Just found out that the new place we might move into doesn't have a fridge, which I am extremely fucked off about. What about naturism and beekeeping, says Gonzo Socialism. Couple on the front are cute, but probably insufferable, says Mark Kenosis. They are, to be fair, they are cute. Warning, they probably the cutest this magazine gets. Right, moving on to inside the magazine. Well, of course, the byline picture of the editor is a nude picture, but cut off. Nude welding, says Mark Kenosis. Apparently, H&E Naturist has been in continuous publication for more than a century. It's been in existence for various forms since 1902, according to recent research by the editor. It originally stood for health and efficiency, the theory being that continued exposure to the sun and air in combination with good diet was beneficial to health and made the body work more efficiently. Right, so you'll notice that person in the room has done some very good censorship here through the magazine to make the magazine as terms of service compliant as possible. So there you go. The contents of today's magazine, the features are Our Naked Wedding, the story of Siobhan and Peter, the clothes optional celebrant, Been There, Got the T-shirt, Robert Sanders goes naked running, no t-shirts required, My Journey to Self-Acceptance, another story of body freedom, campaign to normalise naturism, Linda Weber's social media success, If Only Naturism Could Be Trendy, more from a naturist world's Anna, How to Take the Perfect Selfie, Death Drawing, Alicia on the Avon, Naked Therapy, meet the owners of Lavinia, All Sit Down, Raina Otter on a Common Posture. Okay. Right, here we go. We're starting with the, in the picture, Mark has sent a self-portrait of him pruning the flowers. Not Mark from the stream. Tim has a self-portrait of him on Cleve Hill. There, shown with a bicycle wheel censoring his wrinkled old testes. And David has sent a picture of him just looking at some flowers. In the opinion section, naturism needs to do better on diversity, says Tim Forster, seen there in his deck chair. We pay £50 for every opinion article used, it says here. Your views in the letters section. September's issue of H&E certainly had a theme running through its pages. I enjoyed reading Steve Clark's article on his favourite beaches in Cornwall. He admits it may have been some time since he visited most of his favourite destinations, recognising some of the beaches he used to visit are now no longer accessible unless you have mountain goat abilities. He gives some great descriptions of each beach and details how to reach each of them, though some of these by his own admission may be out of date. Rainer Otter's article picked up on the same theme in his musings of a naturist, signs encountered in his travels. He recalls seeing the odd sign saying naturist beach years ago at many official beaches across the UK, but nowhere near as many as our European neighbours display. Right, this is a nudist magazine, a naturist magazine. There's a really sinister advert for this man Charlie's calendar, Charlie's Angel calendar, a wizened old man and 4 women he's persuaded to appear in his calendar. Get yours for $12.95 each. 12 glorious naturist images by Charlie of 4 stunning angels. You are looking at H&E Naturist magazine. Ban the naked forms as use of weapons. In Spanish Eye, Teresa O'Shea is censored with a skateboard. Praying for rain, says someone, pictured here, bent over on their balcony. I'm converting to Wahhabist Islam to never see a naked body again, says use of weapons. Panic Future, I don't like Boris's hot dog that near to naked people. Where the fuck did you find this? Research Arena, this was for sale in W.H. Smith's, a major newsagent in the UK. Mark Canosis, if I was a naturist magazine, I would avoid the format nationality I. Yeah, and they keep going with this. Focus on France with James Avery. Portugal Perspective with Paul Roos. In the Nude in Art with Ian Roberts. Tangled Web. Paul Rouse continues his series of reviews on Naturist website. This month, New South Wales. Health Notes, where a person in the room has used a bicycle to censor the boobs. Disability Matters with Martin Warlow, which is pretty progressive, fair dues on that. Plastic Free Corner, Teresa O'Shea reports on developments in efforts to halt the tide of pollution and what we can do to help. Again, she's doing that while nude. Diary of a Naturist Guest House with Jane Kendrick of Portugal Naturally. Well, what a busy month we've had. Friends and guests coming to stay, knocking the old pigeon house down at last, carrot picking, buying new sofas, and I guess you have to buy new sofas at a naturist resort fairly often. Okay, now please be ready for our naked wedding, because it's very... This is the naked wedding. Yeah, so there you go. Feature on the naked wedding. Yeah, all sofas in white clean pleather. The naked wedding thing goes on for quite a number of pages. Particularly keen on this one where the Dr. Devlin has censored it with a cat over the key areas. Removable washable covers, they are the future. Roses are red, I shed a tear, dick stuck in toaster, instructions unclear, says Mark Canosis. Why I became a clothes optional celebrant, writes Gillian Coates, again using a cat sticker there. Why are you not reviewing the Naturist mag in the new bit? For many reasons. Many reasons. 0 out of 10 stream says... Oh god... Devlin has not done well here because she's failed to censor. There's an uncensored cock on this page, which I'm censoring with my thumb. Been there, got the t-shirt, but didn't wear it much. Robert Sanders decided to take part in a charity running challenge. He was determined to do as many miles as he could naked. Why? Why though? I'm still on a journey to self-acceptance, says Vishnu S. Kumar, who took big risks to spend time naked growing up in England. Then, at last, he discovered naturism. That's a pretty... I mean, some of these are pretty cool. My campaign to normalise naturism, says Linda Weber. Again, person in the room using cat stickers here. Oh, don't wear a t-shirt without pants. Don't Winnie the Pooh it, you sick bastard. This Mark Kenosis. Absolutely, he was fully Winning the Poohing it. More of this. If only naturism could become a trend. These pages uncensored by Dervs. How to take the perfect selfie. I would simply not. Would you like to be in the picture? Model release form. You could send your picture in to H&E Naturist magazine. It's C122, H122. That's why I follow the stream. Hardcore nudity. Death draw. I mean, this is, frankly, I'm quite glad that I didn't see this picture before devs added the alien to it. Calling your wife by an abbreviation of her surname is such a powerful energy. Why call her most of the time? It's just the sticker placement's amazing. Alicia on the Avon, here you go, wearing... I mean, the hat seems unnecessary. Same there. Basically, right, this is a porn mag for people who just don't have the bravery to either watch porn on the internet or wish to delude themselves into thinking that they're not buying porn. Like, it says in this magazine, no porny poses, porn-style poses. That is very much an 80s-style, porn-style pose. Naked therapy. Paul Rouse talks to a Belgian couple who found their niche after moving to the hills above Alicante. 2022 naked calendars. Murray Wren in colour. Last night, Rainer Otter reported on an unusual unclothed phenomenon. This month, he reports on a very unusual unclothed one. Sitting, basically. That great picture there where Dev's put what appears to be a helmet with a skull on it. This is a porn mag for National Trust members, this Panic Future. Mark Knossos, in college, I once did the opposite of this and went through an issue of Vice drawing cocks in everyone's mouth. Great Jesus. Were you okay, says the research arena? Oh, heavens no. Nudist British expats, such a cursed energy. This entire magazine is intensely cursed. Here from the archives of H&E magazine, this from 1991. Enjoy spring fever. And a picture of people with tennis rackets. Reviews. They reviewed Sex Education. I think they found that there wasn't enough nudity in it. They reviewed Naked Crow 10 for Love by PZ Walker and Excuse My Nudeness by Von Garni Nkuna. Regular readers will recognise the name of prolific author PZ Walker. His Naked Crow tales feature Sheila, a blonde shaman with part native... Oh, red flag, with part Native American ancestry. In the first book, she rescues her close friend Josie from the peril at Mighty Oaks Naturist Resort. In the process, she becomes a naturist herself and meets Jeremy. They marry later in the series. The 10th tale begins at a Mighty Oak volleyball match where Josie becomes friends with Keith. When Josie visits Keith's family, she's instantly smitten by his sister Vicky, and this strong attraction is mutual. This enrages Keith, and Josie brings non-naturist Vicky to Mighty Oaks as a temporary place of safety. Alongside that storyline, Jeremy's father, Eric, is a senior nurse at a city hospital, caring for several people who have suffered some sort of trauma. As well as these problems for Sheila, Mighty Oaks is contacted by Bruno and Sylvia Rivera, wanting someone to get away from the stress surrounding Sylvia's recent gender reassignment surgery, and they think a naturist resort will provide the opportunity for plenty of fresh air to help heal her physical scars. Walker acknowledges in his foreword the help he had from a transgender woman with this thread. Sheila manages to resolve all the issues, but doing so is difficult and stressful. Walker has included gay characters before in a matter-of-fact way. This book is his first to deal explicitly with homophobia. Doing so alongside but completely distinct from the transgender thread is very well done in my opinion. And then Excuse My Nudeness is a book about Christianity and naturism. Oh, more red flags in a USSR meeting. More nudity in school-based TV shows. I hate that I'm now wondering whether this mag has had turf controversy. Oh, God. In the reviews, Hayley Goes Naked, Season 3, Episode 2, a documentary about where Hayley, who was in the call centre, went and met some naturists. Of course, inevitably, naturism per se only takes up a relatively small part of the show, when Hayley visits British Naturism's Sunfolk Club in St Albans to meet naked yoga instructor Georgina Williams and finds out more about people who like getting their kit off. As naturists, we probably don't really learn anything we didn't already know, but George's eloquence on the subject and Hayley's nodding acceptance of some of the points being made that naturism can be liberating, a way of overcoming self-consciousness and a great social leveller, will hopefully hit home with some of the audiences. As mentioned, the pre-show blurb asks several rhetorical questions in a bid to drum up viewing figures. Can Hayley get to the bottom of her fear of being naked in public? Will she manage to overcome her anxiety about nude in front of others? And can she pluck up the courage to tackle her greatest fear of getting stark naked on camera? The answer is yes, of course, albeit coyly. She initially attends a naked yoga class wearing a skimpy bikini and looking decidedly out of place, and she keeps her clothes firmly on while interviewing a naked Georgina. But in the end, she gets naked and this magazine is happy. Use of weapons. I never thought I'd say this, but bring back the Daily Mail poems. Right, there's many books about being naked, including Manhood, the bare reality, which is just pictures of dicks. Womanhood, the bare reality, which is just pictures of vulvas. Wild Swimming, Hidden Beaches, Nudist Camp Follies Volume 2, Nature Boy, Naked Hiking, and Wild and Free. Wherever you are in the world, don't miss your copy of H&E. And then there are many ads in the classified section for masseurs. Gym Fit Male Naturist Masseur, Tantric Goddess. Many of those. Full nature essential or purely relaxing massage with Andy from Simply Hands On. Appealing to over 70s only, female therapist 60s, offers therapeutic and relaxing treatment. Worst MCU movie ever, Hispanic Future, Nature Boy. There's a dating personal ads page. The heating's on, nice and cozy, looking to meet male and female naturist Peter Ipswich. Retired gentleman who enjoys naturism seeks company of over 70s naturists for relaxed meets and activities of mutually enjoyable satisfaction. No time wasters. Face pick before meeting. Discretion and cleanliness expected and given. In denial. Are you a straight or bisexual couple or single female? Any age, location, interested in sharing good wine, fireside stories, and maybe more with a very fit, erotically inclined male? A genuine opportunity to indulge yourselves over the coming winter and beyond. My lord. Peter Ipswich, go to jail. And on the back page, enjoy a Christmas holiday and spend sunny days on the beach at the Arctica Natura. The commitment here, why is Santa fully dressed? Huh? So there you go. That is H&E Naturist magazine. It is... Some of it's quite quaint. Some of it's quite sinister. It's a mixture. Quite 70. Swinging adverts in My Naturist magazine. It's more likely than you think, says Recursive Rosie. So there you go. I don't know. I don't know how to rate this. I mean, it definitely delivers on what it promises. So in that respect, a 9 out of 10. Would I read it again? 0 out of 10. Because it's not, like, adequately pervy enough. Do you know? It's like, it's too pervy for what it is, but not pervy enough to be porn. It's in an uncomfortable middle ground. If you want to see Santa naked, look up the Twitter account, Yolko3. Of course you'd know that. A use of weapons, minus 69 naturist is 69ing. Radiology says, coming winter. Thank you. Amazing first chat. Minus 69 bicycle sticker breasts, Mark Kenosis. In fact, if you want CGI porn of any famous fat men, Yolko is your guy. The uncanny valley of adult material, exactly, Mercutio UK. That is the problem. It's well within that. A magazine I never would have experienced, so thanks, I guess, said Glenster. Yes, there you go. Right, moving on now to a title which also includes overinflated nude breasts, but is in fact Inside the Ropes magazine for wrestling fans. Yes, so here we go with Inside the Ropes magazine. Plus 69 says Red Tick Seed for H&E Naturist magazine. Inside the Ropes Wrestling magazine. This is issue 14, so it's a relatively new magazine. The November 2021 issue promises us tons of news, results, reviews, columns, and retro goodness. It's the retro goodness I'm into. The Battle for New York, WWE, AEW, and GCW present major events in NYC in the same month. Their offences would be jail time. Rob Van Dam chats with ITR about his career highlights and that episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Owen Hart and the AEW. Coming soon to AEW, the Owen Hart Cup Tournament. WWF Invasion Saga, a former WWF magazine editor's account of this tumultuous period in wrestling history. This is not Extreme. Extreme Rules fails to do what it says on the tin. And how far can too far go? What can a heel get away with in 2021? And of course, this promises to be the wrestling magazine for real wrestling fans. Dan Jones, W.H. Smith, seriously sell all of this, but not the non-league paper. What is the world coming to? I know. In fact, I'm just going to ask I'm going to order non-league paper so I can get it. Right, here we go. Inside the Ropes magazine. Right, so, really, like, it could be more excitingly done. Like, look at this is a lot of text. Picture, Ric Flair finally taken down by social media. They talk about that Ric Flair incident. Big thing of like what's coming up. Roman Reigns will defend the Universal title against Brock Lesnar. That already happened. That was October 21st. There's far too much text in here. Although they've got some good Q&As, like good questions about like what's going on in wrestling. I mean, if you like wrestling, there's a lot of reading in it. Shout out to the guys in Kentucky who got kicked by a horse and think wrestling is real. Ric Flair is awful, to be fair. Wait, so this mag is for only fans, says Rick Seed. Imagine, no fake fans for a fake sport. Yeah, no fake fans allowed. No fake fans for a fake sport allowed. Yeah, I mean, real fans. What the fuck does real fans mean? I'm a wrestling fan. I don't admit a real fan. My favourite wrestler is still Shawn Michaels, which is old now. They've got a results page, which is like, it's like writing out what happened in soap operas. A reviews page, Dark Side of the Ring, The Plane Ride from Hell, September 2021 on Vice TV. This episode documents the disgraced WWF journey from London to the US in 2002, but that doesn't make it any less superb installment. Then WWE Live in the UK, April 2013, a DVD. It's a very old DVD at this point. Anyway, they like those. They do strengths and weaknesses, which is actually a good review format. Inside ITR by Kenny McIntosh. If you follow Inside the Ropes or myself on social media, you'll have read my statement about having to cancel the upcoming ITR tour with Paul Wright. I want to dedicate this month's column to explaining in a bit more detail how I ended up in this regrettable position. Good. Insider bullshit at this magazine. For a start, with a few exceptions, whenever there was an Inside the Ropes tour to organise, I deal with all the build-up, blah, blah, blah. I think started to spiral after we announced the Undertaker Rise of the Taker tour in October 2018. I was on Cloud 9 at the time. We worked for over 3 years to do these successful tours with everyone from Shawn Michaels to Paul Heyman. The Undertaker wasn't a tour I even imagined would be possible, and then out of nowhere he had representation and we made it happen. It was all set for late April 19. Anyway, they had to cancel stuff, and then they had something with Kenny Omega, and that didn't happen. This is very inside baseball. Some of the best times of my life have been on tour. Bret Hart coming out as a surprise at our Jim Cornette show in London. Paul Heyman shutting down a heckler in Glasgow. Edge being a true Glaswegian. If you were there, you know what I mean. Fucking hell, this guy's annoying. Paul Wright is Big Show. Yes, I know. Here is a picture of the Big Show. Dark Side of the Ring sounds like a bowel movement. Still can't believe they made one of the WWE wrestlers Wrestler Panda to see who kept the WWF name. I wish that had happened. Sandra's Matt's Musing by Sandra Ruth. NXT 2.0, it's certainly different, but retains enough elements of the old NXT to keep Sandra happy. Quite like NXT. The Battle for New York. Start spreading the news. Wrestling is back in New York City. Good old picture of an old WrestleMania with Hulk Hogan in the background and Mr. T and Rowdy Roddy Piper. Far too much text in this. It's very badly laid out. There's a lot of good old pictures. It's ridiculous. Look, Greg Valentine looks like he's wearing his dressing gown. John Cena, the man everyone in the garden came to see. I've never been a huge John Cena fan. Anyway, far too much text in this. Why don't they make the pictures bigger? This is when you have a magazine where you've got writers who demand all their words go in. Paul Wright is Big Show. Mick Foley or Bret Hart, my favourite wrestlers. Hulk still racist, 100%. I am not a fan of the Hulk. This is not Extreme, with 5 titles on the line, a mammoth 6-man tag team, and Extreme Rules Universal title match. Viewers, Extreme Rules were ready for a festival of hard-hitting, wince-inducing action. To say they didn't get get that would be an understatement, but Matty Paddock explains why there's plenty of stuff to feast on. So basically not enough blood for them. Mick Foley, my favourite as a wrestler and as a person. He's just a great guy. He is a great guy. So they've got an interview with Rob Van Dam. There he is. Who says, following his appearance on the industry-damning Plane Ride from Hell episode of Dark Side of the Ring, the ever-candid Rob Van Dam sat down with Kenny McIntosh to discover the fallout from the show, his memories of 9/11, and the invasion 20 years ago. Let's find his answer about 9/11. You just debuted in a classic angle on July 9th, 2001, where the ECW guys invaded Raw. Obviously, the week before, the WWF was doing the WCW invasion, which didn't really work out. What, blah, blah, blah. 2 months after you joined WWE, the tragic events of 9/11 took place. What do you remember about that day? Mike Awesome and myself were traveling together. We woke up in San Antonio on 9/11. I had a hookup with a really nice Marriott hotel. They had great food. Mike woke me up in the morning and said, "Rob, turn on the TV. We're under attack." I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and then I saw the second tower going down. We knew it was crazy, but we didn't comprehend how much the world had just changed. We thought we were still going to have to wrestle that night. We didn't know. This was in New York and we're in Texas. We drove to Houston and then, of course, we got stranded there for several days. I would rather have been stuck in San Antonio because I had the hookup with the nice king-size suite and all that stuff. But we didn't know. We were just on hold. I think WWE was anxious to get on with it. I remember thinking it was a horrible idea. These terrorists really want to strike America in the heart. What better way than a stadium full of people on live TV watching pro wrestling, which is as American as it gets. I was thinking it's quite likely that we were not going to be the safest out in front of people. I thought that, and also when we flew home. Telly Long was the first one to fly home. I thought he was crazy. I couldn't believe that he did it. We drove out of there. A lot of people did. And for the longest time, it's something that went through my mind every time you get on an airplane. I've told this story several times, but I remember Lance Storm telling us that he would kiss his kids goodbye every day when he would leave the house and not know if he was going to make it home or not. We would eyeball anyone who had a towel on their head or whatever. Oh, Jesus Christ. It was just paranoia hyped and not a comfortable feeling at all. We take it for granted how comfortable stuff is when Jesus Christ. He's literally gone towel head with this. My God. Stephanie McMahon comparing 9/11 to the Vince McMahon steroid trial of 9/13/01 still makes me laugh. Jesus. Thank you, my door is never. New Jack still scares me. Vogue. This is a wrestling mag. Yeah. Yes, this is a wrestling mag. This is Inside the Ropes. So anyway, Rob Van Dam, they're doing an actual... United 2 doing... My God! That's Muhammad Ali's music. John Cena announcing the death of Bin Laden is an amazing moment. Honestly, this Rob Van Dam interview is just incredible. I want to ask you about a famous clip of you from a Kayfabe Commentaries interview where you impersonate Shawn Michaels. Did you ever get any heat for that? I never really get heat for anything. I get asked all the time, and there's rumours on the internet that Rob Van Dam is getting heat. It never really happens. I love he's talking about himself in the third person. There were terrorist-themed heel gimmicks within months of 9/11. 100%. It was horrendous. Cannot wait for John Cena to announce the death of the Queen. The Queen has been caught and compromised to a permanent end. The role of the heel in wrestling has changed significantly over the decades, with moral ambiguity and social media outrage making it an increasingly difficult task for bad guys to truly be bad guys. This was highlighted recently by the negative response to Max Caster's heat-seeking rap on AEW Dark, which the promotion was quick to distance itself from. James McMahon looks at, I know James McMahon, looks at how the role of the heel has changed and whether it can still work in 2021. It basically can, as long as you realise that wrestling is real but not real. The Undertaker dabbled with crucifixion during his ministry days. That's just a normal sentence here. Forget the studied cool of the now heel Roman Reigns. The best bad guy of recent times is Vince McMahon's old mate, WWE Hall of Fame entrant Donald J. Trump, former president of the United States. Yes, Donald J. Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame and got in there quicker than he will get a presidential library. Right, there's an article about Owen Hart, who of course died in a horrendous accident. AEW's deal with Martha Hart will enable modern fans to celebrate one of wrestling's greats. Brian Solomon looks at the legacy of Owen Hart. I remember watching SummerSlam 94. Owen carried a lot of guilt with him for accidentally injuring Steve Austin at SummerSlam 97. Following his rivalry with Bret, Owen became a tag team champion alongside Yokozuna. Yokozuna was so young at this point. Owen Hart was a great wrestling character. You're talking about Donald Trump was a great wrestling character. He was. ECW learned the hard way that crucifixion isn't popular. Yeah. Be careful what you wish for. In 2001, the scenario every wrestling fan had dreamed of became a reality. WCW, and to a lesser extent ECW, invaded WWF. Sadly, it was a total bust, as Brian Solomon remembers. Yeah, it was a bad gimmick. It was, anyway, far too many words in this. Not enough good big pictures. That didn't work by Justin Henry. The gimmicks that should have been left on the drawing board. The Warrior. The Ultimate Warrior left a mixed legacy in professional wrestling. On the one hand, Warrior embodied late 80s, early 90s sports entertainment with his mega-jacked physique and his nonsensical monologues delivered with a metalhead's growl. Those qualities in themselves can be taken as positive or negative. But even Warrior defenders are apt to agree that his in-ring skill was lacking. He had the coordination, grace, and technical abilities of a dogwood tree. Nonetheless, Warrior left an indelible mark on a generation of wrestling fans and is undeniably an icon of his time. Can't tell the story of pro wrestling without mention of the Ultimate Warrior. His greatest triumph came at WrestleMania 6 in 1990 when he defeated Hulk Hogan for the WWF title before more than 60,000 fans in Toronto. Following the career-defining win, Warrior had few moments that came close to equaling its grandeur. In both 91 and 92, WWF parted ways with Warrior, the former instance an indefinite suspension, the latter a firing. For 6 years following Warrior's termination, save for an ill-fated 3-month comeback in 1996, Warrior mostly faded from the wrestling mainstream. Face-painted Mystic had become an elusive figure. In the midst of a major wrestling war in 1998, WCW thought it was bolstering its roster when it managed to sign Warrior, now known simply as The Warrior, to a big money contract. In the modern squared circle arms race, there weren't many free agents on the market that could equal Warrior's name value and popularity, so WCW cut a generous deal to acquire the 39-year-old former world champion. It's an obvious match to go with. As a Hogan Warrior 2, WCW was going to deliver the sequel to one of the most famous bouts of all time. Anyway, push comes to shove, it was rubbish. Never forget, WWE returns after 9/11. I feel like this documentary is going to be triggering. So yeah, it's a 30-minute documentary about WWE following 9/11. Steve Austin starts out talking about how in 2001 business was great and arenas were sold out, which by the way is a complete lie 10 seconds into the show. Great start. Anyway, we'll play along. Narratives that things were otherwise great and normal on September 10th, and then they had a SmackDown taping scheduled for September 11th in Houston with more Alliance shenanigans planned, but then the World Trade Center attacks happened, which was somehow just like an attack on WWE itself because they were known for being in Madison Square Garden. Oh, Jesus. Everyone was worried that the terrorists would find out about the show and try to attack it as well, apparently because terrorists hate freedom in America and WWE is about freedom in America. That giant fist on the SmackDown set is like a giant fist thrust against terrorism. And of course the proceeds from this show went to the victims of 9/11. Oh wait, that last one didn't happen. Sorry, I got wrapped up in the spirit there for a minute. Yeah, they didn't donate any money. The talking heads agree that everyone in the world thought it was the 100% right decision to do the show. The SmackDown, the nation's first public gathering since the attacks. Lilia Garcia sang the national anthem and spent a few minutes talking about that, while we get tinkly piano in the background to remind us how great WWE is for doing the show to put themselves over. Bruce Pritchard declares that the SmackDown show is what the national anthem is actually about. This documentary is fun and informative. This is all sarcastic, by the way. We get some clips of the matches that night, which didn't matter because the real point was just to entertain people, and then for wrestlers to cut promos. Bruce notes that John Layfield was a bad guy, but he got cheered that night. Actually, he wasn't a bad guy, he was a babyface at that point, and they actually showed clips of APA coming out on that very show and getting cheered. For some reason, they completely ignore the promo done by Stephanie McMahon, where she compared the terrorist attacks to the federal government's steroid distribution case against her father. I was waiting to hear about that one and how courageous she was for saying it on live TV. Sadly, it was edited out of most airings of this show, probably because of the terrorists. Also, the SmackDown in question was preempted in New York by actual news show, so it didn't even air in the place where it's supposed to be paying tribute. Anyway, I'm not here to begrudge anyone's heartfelt feelings about what happened on 9/11, but this documentary was a complete pile of crap. It was actually the kind of self-serving nonsense that everyone criticised WWE for in the first place. Fact is that not only did they not take the original criticism to heart at the time, they doubled down and made a documentary celebrating themselves for being brave and being the first public assembly after the attack, with some ridiculous semantic language to create their own milestones across. Like everything they do, the SmackDown show is to make money and put themselves over, and to pretend like it was anything else is far more disingenuous than any of the numerous white lies told during this documentary. It gets a full 5 Bruce Pritchards out of 5 and a strong recommendation to avoid wasting 30 minutes of your life. Stone Cold turning heel killed the business. WrestleMania 17 in 2001. Second, Hulk Hogan was struck the towers off the top rope. Warrior was awful. So many wrestlers are terrible. Proceeds showed until Al-Qaeda, says Mark Canosis. That's unproven. Surprisingly boring for a wrestling magazine. A lot of wrestling fans take things far too seriously. They review the SmackDown versus Raw computer game from 2004, including like a little version of the Games Master. That gets 4 stars. They interview Jeff Jarrett, 20 questions with Jeff Jarrett. They review some other old shit. They talk about 25 years ago, Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 13. They talk about Yokozuna. Talk about various toys. Doink the Clown is the wrestler spotlight. Doink the Clown. Jesus Christ. The letters are very sensible. Snapshot in time. USWA 1993. The WWF loanees Razor Ramon and Owen Hart tangle in the USWA. An interpromotional war kicked off between Jerry Lawler's USWA and Vince McMahon's World Wrestling Federation. The angle marked the first time McMahon ever appeared on camera as a heel, as he dispatched various WF stars to Memphis in order to dethrone the King. There you go. I mean, it's an okay wrestling magazine. There's a lot of read in it, and it is quite good on the history, but it's like very serious. A lot of wrestling fans take stuff too serious. So there you go. I don't know. For me, 5, 6 out of 10. King United 2, I'll never forget giant haystacks as moving words after 7-7. Yokozuna died in Liverpool, yeah. Mine is 69 Big Daddies from Gonzo Socialism. And the final magazine today is a conspiracy theory stacked pile of horse shit called Nexus magazine. So get ready for this. Chronotherm, wrestling fans act like sport fans when they're watching a soap opera. Yeah. I enjoy wrestling. I enjoy it. I got into it in the Attitude Era. I really did enjoy it. But my lord, let's get a grip. Minus 316. Austin, 316. It's C2012, C122, H122. Yes. Right, here we go. It's the final magazine of the day. Final magazine, conspiracy theory magazine, The Sun. Right, this is Nexus magazine. It is wildly full of bullshit. Right. Here's the editor's letter. Choosing an editorial topic for Nexus is always challenging. For this issue, I penned an editorial all about COVID-19 and the collective psychosis people are choosing to either accept or reject. It was full of succinct and hard-hitting factoids and phrases. And upon reading it, I was fired up and full of righteous anger and indignation over the millions of deaths directly resulting from the experimental injections. This is a anti-vax editor, right? But to be honest, you can glean all that from the contents of this issue or by looking at the items we post each day on nexusnewsfeed.com. To be more honest, I feel it is not the right thing to put in this editorial. There are no answers or solutions to what is happening. The momentum of the agenda is simply bigger than most people can comprehend. And then he goes on about cyclones and... With the current COVID-19 con being in mouse view all the time will leave you on a roller coaster ride of false fears and false hopes. Your psychic energy output will contribute to the background frequencies of turmoil and confusion and fear. Jesus Christ. Anyway, guess what? This is based in East Grinstead, which is like a hub of mad shit. Right. Injectable thought-reading nanosensors. Graphene brain implants. Pfizer paid the largest criminal fine in history. Class action lawsuits and a mass recall on 3.5 million ventilators. Five Eyes Alliance about to become Nine Eyes. Should AI be an inventor and hold patents? Nature's electric grid. Record number of environmental activists murdered in 2020. That's actually a fact. Moratorium on prion research after lab workers contract CJD. See, this is a mixture of true things and bullshit. The suppression of ivermectin and hydrochloroquine. Jesus, they're obsessed with this. In Peru, ivermectin cut COVID deaths by 75%. Bollocks. The lies behind the pandemic of the unvaxxed. This is just... Oh, my God. Massive fraud in reporting vaccine injuries and deaths. No, that's not true. This is not true. COVID shots censoring the experts. Scientists and doctors internationally are calling for a halt to the vaccination approach to handling the COVID-19 crisis. They are not. That is not true. Various people who've got PhDs and are doctors, right? But almost all of them are not actually doctors. Pages and pages of that. The truth about contagion, exploring theories of how disease spreads. This is some... Honestly, man, this stuff is like... And they lay it out like this is... The biggest conspiracy is that the Queen is still alive, yeah. It's the poisons, not the bacteria themselves, that make people all sink. Or more fundamentally, it's the environmental terrain that caused the bacteria to create the poisons. Fucking hell. In 1995, Professor Gerald Geisen of Princeton University published an analysis of the notebooks revealed that Pasteur had committed massive fraud. Oh, my God. They're trying to sell you on cleanses. Of course they are. High-tech alchemy, how corporations and the military augment humans with transformative technologies. And, of course, there's a picture of Maria from Metropolis. There's some absolutely... It's very boring, right? This is properly tinfoil hat magazine. Crop circles of 2021. Heretical emblems. Heretical emblems. Which would be a great name for an album. Back in 2020, the season's flurry of ingenious crop glyphs had surprised the cynics. The robust pandemic lockdowns, they said, would once and for all clear away the creative vandals they believed were responsible for peppering the English landscape with mischievous shapes. They should have known better, of course, for a phenomenon which has always delighted in confounding expectations. Sure enough, the prophesied moratorium gave it way instead to another summer of spectacular mandalas, with more activity than a year before. You know, people were still allowed to go outside. Fuck me. There are too many words in this one. Far too many words. There's 12 pages on fucking crop circles. No. 13 pages on crop circles. Pythagoras suppressed. The revival needed to overthrow today's standard model priesthood. Jesus Christ. Fucking hell. I love all... Plato's Elements and the Fundamental States of Matter. Oh my God, this stuff is like, this is just wackadoodle. Pages and pages of wackadoodle. Right, the prophecies of Mother Shipton, right? So this is the claim. The claim is that Mother Shipton's prophecies were sent to Nexus by a reader who told them that 30 years ago she painstakingly transcribed them and managed to smuggle them out of the Mitchell Library, now the State Library of New South Wales. To our knowledge, this particular translation had never been made to the public before appearing in Nexus in 1991 and again in 1995. Following some background on Mother Shipton, we present the verses that they were found in the book. So basically, the idea is that this is like this woman who came up with these prophecies between 1488 and 1561, right? Absolute full-on horse shit. And then they go through and claim that she was predicting about COVID, hydroelectricity, the Crystal Palace fire, combine harvesters. This and roaring monsters with man atop does seem to eat the verdant crop. This means combine harvesters, they say. When pictures see the live with movements free, when boats like fishes swim beneath the sea, when men like birds shall scour the sky, then half the world, deep drenched in blood, shall die. Seems to describe the beginning of the TV era, followed by World War II. Why didn't she send the letter 30 years ago? Yeah, hey, SK the Crusader, how you doing? Sup? Oh god, this shit. I grew up near Knaresborough where Mother Shipton's cave in, and people go nuts for this. It's complete horseshit. A fiery dragon will cross the sky 6 times before this earth shall die. Mankind will tremble and frightened be for the 6 heralds in this prophecy. Well, this is widely interpreted as a comet, but it could also describe electrical plasma or solar discharge. Fuck me. This is just horseshit. Why did she warn us of Hitler? What a bastard, yeah. Books that they review. Water Realms by Karen Mutton. Karen Mutton has produced a unique book that surveys water management and technologies in ancient societies. Then there's The Great Pyramid Void Enigma by Scott Creighton. November 2017, an international team of more than 30 scientists published the results of their 2-year-long Great Pyramid research project using an advanced imaging technique known as muon radiography. 3 groups working independently discovered a massive, previously unknown space within the Great Pyramid. So, like, great way to create. I'm pro-fire. Bring on the fiery dragon. A healer's journey to intuitive knowing, the enchanted garden, grandmother ayahuasca. Eat, drink, and be berry. Secret Mars. Just the truth about contagion. Subscribe to Nexus and never miss an issue. I'd really rather not. And then they just have pages and pages of like web references to reference the articles. Turns out it was all aliens, yeah. Lots of weird mail order books you can get. And that's it. But all day, every day you can read this shit if you want. So there you go, that is Nexus magazine. I mean, a minus 1,000. It's both boring and shit. Mark Kenosis, I've done ayahuasca and I hate everyone who's done ayahuasca. Red tick. The thing is, there are conspiracies and stuff, but it's nothing to do with aliens or lizard people. It's more like this South American country is trying to elect a socialist, wants to nationalise their resources, the CIA is trying to stage a coup there. Yeah, and I fully believe that the my conspiracy theory is a meta-conspiracy theory, that the growth in conspiracy theories post-JFK is there to muddy the waters, because yes, there are real conspiracies to destabilize states, conspiracies to remove people from power all the time. But the conspiracy theories that create noise, stuff like the killing of Jeffrey Epstein. Controversial take, but I fucking love Nexus, this Dan Jones. Just get into Time Cube, cowards. Glazer, 90s X-Files watching me would have brought this. RFK death too. Yeah, exactly. The actual assassinations and all this kind of shit that definitely are conspiracies, and there's stuff that goes back, a few decades later we find out that that was a conspiracy. But the conspiracy theories, like, the moon landings were fake or whatever, they're just there to mean that anything that is actually a real conspiracy gets shoveled into this other stuff. And that's my theory. Anyway, that magazine is boring. Like, basically, 14 Times does it better, really. RFK, yeah, okay. Yes, anyway, thank you for joining me today for this magazine special. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'd say probably the best magazine out of the 3 was the Naturists one, because it was the most purely funny, I guess, for us. C122, H122 wasn't the first conspiracy an anti-Jewish conspiracy. As conspiracies go way back in history, but, I mean, you could talk about the faked protocols of the articles of Zion, QAnon Anonymous is a good podcast. Didn't Biden sign to keep JFK's files secretly? They're going to continue those for long. Moon landings were faked by Stanley Kubrick, and he was so dedicated to realism he actually went to the moon to film it. Yeah. Well, thank you, Kid92, that's what gets me about the Q stuff. There's an international pedo ring with the world rich and powerful, but not the one we knew about. Exactly. It's all to do. I think it's all to do with distortion, and like CIA and other intelligence agencies have always had a role in pushing out conspiracy theories because they then cause distraction from actually what's actually going on. Truth is out there. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. Bush did the moon landing, says Red Tixie. Thank you for joining me today. The newsletter today is about the Iron Patterson shit and the hot dog suit wearing elites of Britain. Do get involved with that, please. Please read, subscribe, like, share that if you can. I'd really appreciate it. Please take a look at my pinned tweet today and do share the newsletter. It honestly helps a load. Also, if you want to help me keep doing magazine specials and stuff like that so I don't end up losing money, do consider chucking some coins into the paper fund. That's paypal.me/conquest of the useless. Thank you very much for joining me on this first married week of the show. It's been really great. The chat has been phenomenal as ever. Panic Future, but Prince Philip did kill Diana. Cheers, He's More 2401. Thank you, C122, H122, coins. Gonzo Socialism says question anything, and I absolutely agree. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff is really useful. And I will see you next week. Mark Kenosis, cheers. Keep watching the skies. Truth is out there. Yeah, cheers all. See you Monday at 1 p.m. In the meantime, get me on Twitter or the Discord. Bye-bye.